Welcome home to You Are the Compass with producer and host Jessie Clayton. This is a podcast about the turning points in life that awaken us to new directions and the inner guidance that helps us navigate them. Reset your headings as we dive deep with guest interviews, quick fine-tuned series, and inspiration from all corners of the globe. From wherever in the world you have joined from today, you have arrived. Hi, and welcome home to You Are the Compass. Our next guest reached out to me from a platform called Podmatch. Now, I know I can almost see and hear the grimacing and how that sounds in this digital day and age, and I too almost thought it too good to be true. Though the truth is, we crave as society connection, as individuals, and that along our own journeys, those coordinates that we keep adjusting in our lives, that we will continue to meet like-minded others, maybe that they've had similar paths, those crossroads and struggles that they've faced head-on will resonate so much with our own that the external inspiration renews another day, and it's a chance for us to do better. Needless to say, I was actually very grateful to get the little red notification of a new message in my inbox of this said platform. So without any further delay, Todd Ennis, founder of Love Your Mind, welcome home to You Are the Compass.
Wow, you're amazing. How good's that? I've got a lot to learn. Oh, wow.
Now,
What an
Todd, you've
introduction.
had quite the journey from rock bottom to CEO, and I'll be honest, I hope there is more episodes to come to share with our audience.
Yeah,
If I
sure.
can start us off on a little journey here, one of your posts, and I guess the main sort of reason for me wanting to do this podcast with you was on social media, and it was on Instagram. It just really spoke to me. It was such a simple stick figure with a conveyor belt of all things, but the message and the mechanisms of it was brilliant, and it stuck with me. It turned a light bulb on for me, and I'm so grateful to have you here today. For our listeners, the picture read, "We can't open new doors while holding on to the past." And it's often at the best of times that we need a little basic analogy, straight to the point like this one, for that to really hit home. Todd, can we start there perhaps with your turning point in life and where that thought started to have impact for you?
Yeah, the one thing I love about this is we get to go all the way forward to the starting point, the turning point, sorry. The starting point for me takes me back as a 6-year-old boy that was in that situation there with an after-school carer where I became a sexual abuse victim. And it was one of the biggest cases on the mid-north coast in Australia. So I'm glad we can start there today and I don't have to go right through what made me the person I was. So now you can see the person where I got to, but now who I am going forward. So to answer your question, I never really had consequences for any of my behaviors growing up. When I identified my father at 15 after he'd been killed, I'd lost that positive role model in my life and that watchguard, I guess, where I had a green light to behave the way I did. And because of what I just touched on in other episodes through my life, anything I did, I was exempt from because I was someone who was very troubled, who'd lost his father, who was a sex abuse victim, and other things. And so they always gave me a green light and said, just give him a break. So I learned really, really easily that you could get away with bad behavior. And I never really had consequences for that. Fast forward until my wife and my kids decided to leave. They wanted me to leave the house. That was when I had real consequences because that was permanent. I took myself to a rehabilitation clinic 2 years ago at a place called Bronte here in Sydney, New South Wales. And I did 21 days. They asked me what level I wanted to go, and there's 3 levels. There was the trauma ward, there was the addiction ward, and there was the mental health ward and suicide. I said, do you have a bed on each? I didn't know where I fitted in. I just took myself down there. I knew I needed to go and do something because I couldn't help myself any further. I was 40 years of age, and I did the 21 days, and I went to all the workshops. And because the only bed they had at the time was on the suicide watch ward, the mental health ward, I didn't go down there as the suicidal guy. I went down there to try and find some answers as to why my brain kept acting the way it did, and what I could learn to try and be better, to save my marriage, to go back and show them that I'd done some work and I was ready to change. Um, the only bed they had was on that third level where it was suicide watch. So I was the guy who had no phone charger, no razors, in case I self harmed. But I did have a mirror, and I had a bed and a shower and a toilet. So I used to get up every day and just do my push ups and my squats and my sit ups and my plank holds. And I used to write in my book. And I had to walk past the mirror every day. And I started talking to it, because for many years as an addict and as a person that was of no real value on this planet, I couldn't really look at myself and tell the truth. So I didn't realize the mirror was the turning point that was going to save my life. I didn't know until I got out of the clinic. 21 days forward, I come out. As soon as you get out, there's no one around. There's no meals made for you. You're back in the real world. You've got all these bills. You've got everything ahead of you. And it's very daunting and scary. I got on the train. I went back up to Newcastle. I went back to my family home, and I knocked on the door, and I said to my ex-wife, I said, I'm back. I've done some work and I'm ready. And she said, I don't think you're listening. I didn't want you to do this for me. I wanted to do this for you, but we're getting divorced. And I cried my eyes out like I've never cried before. And I felt heartbreak, I think, for the very first time, because I had consequences for the first time in my life after 40 years. So that was the starting of the turning point. It was the most painful experience of my life, because for probably 4 months, I would ache for her. I would ache for her. I couldn't even see my kids in my mind. It was just her I wanted back. Um, and I'd lost all my assets from the criminal activities. I'd lost any friend that I'd ever thought was a friend, because I was really entertaining the circus as the biggest clown. They weren't really my mates.
Yeah.
I'd lost everyone's trust in the community because I was a criminal. I was an addict. I was that guy that had a bad reputation in the area. I had nowhere to go. So I'd asked a couple of mates if I could sleep on their lounge, but they said that their wives and that weren't comfortable with me being in their house. So I went to an industrial shed where my mate had his carpentry um, business. And he said, I'll let you stay here for a little while, but you're going to have to come here after 7:30 at night when the panel beaters and the spray painters and the mechanics are gone. And you're going to have to leave at 4:30 in the morning before they get here, because there was a CrossFit gym that started at 5. So I did that for about 4 months, illegally. I used to go down to the service station and get the protein meals that they were about to throw out, and eat there. I would wait of a morning to swipe into the Anytime Fitness to have a hot shower or go to the toilet, and that's where I'd got to. There were days there where I considered what it might feel like to stand on a cliff and take my life. So I did that one afternoon. I went and stood there just to see what it felt like. I don't think I had the guts to ever do it, but I just knew I couldn't do this by myself anymore. I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I didn't know I had anything in me left, but I did. I did like the gym, and I like the ocean. So I just thought, I'll go home tonight and I'll sleep, and I'll go to the gym in the morning. I'll start lifting weights again, and I'll go and jump in the ocean. And I had no idea I was creating a global framework from the way I was rebuilding myself. I had no idea what I was about to do, but if someone could have come and said to me, mate, in 2 years' time, your movement will inspire people around the world, and you don't have to do anything other than be yourself and show up and just show people how you're doing it. I created a brand new human being in 18 months, and I did that by beating addiction. So addiction for me was cocaine. It stopped me going to the gym because I was too under the influence or not recovered enough from the night before. It stopped me eating well because I wouldn't eat for days, and then I'd just go and eat rubbish. I was sedated with drugs and alcohol, so my sleeping patterns were horrible. My relationships were falling apart because I was so in and out of moods. As a present father, I wasn't. I couldn't hold a job because I couldn't go to work. I had no purpose, no career, no drive. These 8 components that I've just told you about are what I have now put into a 90-day framework, which I sell around the world in a funnel to give people hope that if they can apply these rules and principles in their own example to their life, they will statistically improve their shield against mental ill health every day. I can't
I love
promise you'll
that.
fix mental health, but I can give you a fucking shield that I use every single day. And that course I will never get off because it saved my life.
100%.
Is that a long answer
And
for
do
the
you
question?
think, I love that though. And only a couple of minutes. Do you think when you were on that cliff top, what what moment drew you back in? People talk
Yeah, I get
about
asked this.
motivation and that we as humans have to have internal motivation to keep going. But I talk more about that you need something externally to inspire you. So it wasn't going to be your ex-wife anymore. It wasn't, it is your kids in some respect, but first and foremost, you've got to take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
what's been that external driving force for you to keep going?
Well, I never really had um, any reason that I could have any signs of being a good human being because everything that I'd ever said, I'd manipulated with my words to make people think I was going to do something or I was someone that I wasn't. But I always had to go back to the mirror and go, fuck, these people believe in me now. I've just told lies. Like I'm not this person. So I didn't really know where to start, but I knew that I'd been happy previous parts of my life. And it was generally when I was training and I wasn't using drugs and alcohol. And I'd done 21 days and I didn't want to go back down the road for Coke because the last line I'd ever had, I actually cried because I couldn't say no to it, but I had to finish it so it wouldn't call my name anymore. Because if I had it around me, I just had to have it.
Yeah.
With me losing my job and assets and having no money, I couldn't buy it either. So it was a really good thing. But I knew if I could start beating that, I could probably survive another day and come to the sunrise and jump in the ocean and train. So I thought, I'll start there. I used to love writing like not journaling, but I used to love writing down my daily activities and try and tick off my boxes. I used to love doing
Yeah.
that. So I thought I'll just go home tonight, write some stuff out, and I might just do one more day and just see how I feel because I know what Mondays were like for me. It was a Monday. I'm like, Mondayitis is real. So maybe I'll just show up on Tuesday and see how I feel. And as that week went on, things started to improve. Along the path was just meeting amazing people once you start getting yourself better. The universe is like,
Mm.
God, this poor. Can I swear on this or not?
Go for
Because I just
it.
it's just me. I'm trying my best to be respectful, but
I like to mirror people's language. So you say what you like.
um yeah. Look, I'm so passionate about it because I did it, and it's still so raw. Because like I said to you before, it feels like yesterday I was that street thug gangster who had
Yeah.
nothing, and now I'm required to be a CEO of a movement. Um, and there's so many things that I haven't launched yet that we've done, and I don't even know how to do that because I'm scared that it's too much too quickly. But I asked for this. I dreamt of this,
You
just not
did.
this big. It's insane. But look, I didn't have that awakening moment where I saw God or I saw a whale in the ocean or I thought
Mhm.
of my kids or anything like that. What I did do though is I couldn't move my legs forward. So they were like concrete and jelly. And I thought that might be enough just to maybe I can't get there anyway. So I felt great walking away. I felt like I needed to go there. And over time, I learnt to love the shed. I used to listen to the rain. I used to be terrified to come outside and open the door because I didn't want anyone to see me. So I spent a lot of time in there, and I really started to rebuild this human being that's here today.
You sat with your thoughts more and realized that it is just you at the end of the day kind of thing. It's
That's
no
amazing how
material
you say that, but
possessions.
That's exactly what it was. Is that the key message that I leave every organisation in now is we can sit here and inspire and motivate. I don't love the word motivation, but we can do that through YouTube, through programs, through our stories. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to sit in the pain and go through it. If you're not willing to do that, then you're never going to find out what you're capable of because you'll dip yourself into pain and you'll feel
Mm.
uncomfortable and you'll just go back out and you'll sabotage, whether it's through alcohol, drugs, relationships, diet, excuses. And then you'll go, fuck, this isn't serving me anymore. I've got to go. I've got to do this. And you'll bounce back down. And that cycle just continues around and around. Whereas if you just go through the fucking thing, sit in it, come out the other side, those dots, they don't even add up anywhere near what all that rubbish did to get to where you want to be in the end anyway. So you got to go through it. You got to do it yourself.
100%. And I think what you said there before, like it wasn't like a major turning point for you. It was a little bit built up over time, over years. Similar sort of scenario with myself. And then you just hit with it one day and you're like, I just need to change my life. I need to sell my house. I need to quit my job. I got a divorce, 3 years ago kind of thing. And it was all one after the other. Um,
Sorry, I'm just taking that for our social media. Yeah.
I love that. I'll
Yeah,
send
yeah.
this through to you for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's fine.
but that people can resonate with parts of those messages. And, they may not have gone through those big three, losing their job and, quitting their marriage and their jobs, but they might resonate with one little facet of it. And they're like, yes, I need to learn more from this person. This person's inspiring me to do
Absolutely.
that. Do you
Absolutely.
think that because you've been through all that, people are starting to connect with you, are starting to reach out to you more now because of that empathetic connection rather than a sympathetic? You're not in sympathy with them, you're empathetic because you've been through a lot of this yourself,
Mm.
but you need to draw on ways in which that they can get themselves out of it, maybe rebuild their shield a bit.
Yeah, that's so nice. I love that. I've got, you should see my little cheap shield that I've got up here at my house or my apartment. I bought it off Temu for $4. I think the posting and handling was more. But I'll always keep that. I'll always keep that shield because without it, our brains go back to 0% every day. So it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. None of that matters. But every single day we'll wake up at 0%. And it's up to you to get up and put your shoes and socks on and start building that percentage in your favor through my holistic model, to give yourself the best opportunity to fight against the guy that knocks at the door, which is depression,
Mm.
anxiety, fear, terror. It all happens if you lay there and let it. And it can happen at any time and it doesn't discriminate. And I just worked out a blueprint and a way to give yourself a chance. That's it. It's a preventative program that you may prevent this from happening if you do this. If you don't do it, you know the risks, you know the consequence. It's up to you.
What would you say the core fundamental? Give us one or two steps
Yeah, the
within that
fundamental,
that
the
we could
first
start
thing
with.
is physical movement. Okay, so for me, my training's different to yours. All right, Jess, yours is different to your kids, to your mum and dad. This doesn't discriminate elderly, young, male, female, whatever race. I'm not here to tell you what your training has to be like. That's up to you, but move your fucking body first thing when you open your eyes. If you're a shift worker, cool. Had all those excuses. Todd, I can't train at 4:30 in the morning like you. You don't have to. Do it at 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But when you open that your eyes, do that. Do that first. What it does is it creates a routine. It creates discipline, which you can apply to every other aspect of your life, finances, relationships. Once you've got that part of your brain switched on to um, harder choices, you've created strength towards harder choices. So the weak temptation to lay in bed when it's cold, when it's raining, when it's winter, the fact that you're on Tinder last night and you picked up a new chick, doesn't matter. It doesn't
Love
matter.
that.
If you don't negotiate with you, you will be the best version of you for someone else and they will start flourishing as well. there's a real strength for me going into a pub or a club these days because I don't drink and I don't do drugs. I used to be the guy they made fun of and stay away from because I was weird. I used to say he's weird, but I didn't change who I believed I was. Now they all come up to me off their fucking heads and they're like, I want to change too. How do I do it? How do I do it? I said, I could tell you, but you're not going to do it because you're still
Yeah.
here doing the same fucking thing over and over. You can watch me do it. You can come and coach with me, but I can't wake up next to you and make you do it. You're going to have to really go through this yourself. I would start with physical movement, even if it's just a walk, even if it's just a sunrise, even if it's coming and doing yoga in front of the TV, Pilates, swimming, rowing, bike riding, gym, group training. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Move your body and your body will reward you for that. The second thing that I think is most important is connection. So I've gone through all my 8 components and I just think loneliness, poor environment, poor friendship groups, and lack of connection is just so undervalued in increasing that percentage every day. So it could just be, let's go for a walk and we'll catch up and have a coffee and watch the sunrise. That's so powerful. And then go start your day. Tell me that you don't feel better today than when you're sleeping, you don't talk to anyone, and you don't go and watch the sunrise. So start there.
100%. Even
Reach
just
it.
like the connection with how we connected. Like I was like, that's motivated me to go and do something. Now, it might be on this sort of scale for people,
Yeah, I
podcasting
love
2
that.
years down the line. But to get that message, I was like, okay, there is weight in what I'm doing. There is meaning in what I'm doing. I am reaching out to people, although it was a PA that sent me the
Doesn't
message.
matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is,
It
Jess,
doesn't
is
matter. Doesn't matter.
the thing is though, you don't worry about the big long vision right now because that doesn't matter. What matters is the tiny little steps you're taking today to get to there. And that's the same with if you're overweight, you've got to just start somewhere. Like if you don't start, stay overweight and get worse. And I'll tell you what you
100%.
need to hear, not what you want to hear. So when I say to you, I say to people, I say you're fat. Okay, you know you're fat. You look at yourself in the mirror. You don't like who you
Yeah.
are. So fucking change it.
Yeah, exactly.
The men, they'll say, mate, we had to stop following you. You always got your shirt off. I said, because it's confronting, isn't it? Because I'm a fucking mirror for
Yeah.
you. Because you wear your fishing shirt down there in the
Yeah.
summer. Because you're too scared to get your gut out. Because you're full of piss. So how about you do the 12-month with me? Come and take your shirt off with me, and you tell me you don't feel better.
Yeah.
But what that does is that influences his relationship, his work, his family life, his temptations around drugs and alcohol and validation. All that is all a byproduct of getting yourself out of bed and getting started.
100%. And it starts with one little step.
And
Like I
that's the
speak
thing.
to mountaineers, like expeditioners, ultra marathon runners. They're not looking at 100 miles down the road. They're looking at the first couple of Ks. Okay, I need to pace myself. I need to work at this, prevent injury. I need to hydrate. They're not looking at the summit or the end of the 100 kilometers. They're looking at what they need to do in the next couple of Ks, couple of steps, first things in the morning. My dad likes meditation. So
Mm,
I guess that's a form of moving your body. It's moving your mind. It's
look, it is.
switching on.
And like I say to everyone, it's not my job to tell you what makes you feel better. You work that out for yourself. That's why my shield's customized. It's not a one all fit
Yeah.
all. So inside my program, every week we have a 90-minute Zoom. So everyone across the world can jump in and we'll customize what might be working, what might not be working. But by the time we get to day 60, where we've implemented the new framework, the new habits. 21 days
Yeah.
creates a habit, 90 days breaks it. So once we get to day 60, the last 30 days we have our shield, our personal one to go for it. And that's where we get the evidence to say, okay, this is how I'm living now. That's how I used to be living. It's up to you if you want to continue living that life.
And is that on an individual level, Todd? Do you
Yeah.
have the Zooms with individual, or you bring them
No.
together as
That's
a
private
community as
coaching.
well?
That's private coaching.
Okay.
This is just I've got a WhatsApp group, and I've got
Yeah.
my access to my Zoom link, and I'm there, and people can fire questions through the week in our WhatsApp group. We'll answer them, and it's amazing because everyone's becoming friends. So there's people in Canada becoming friends with
Yeah.
people over here,
Yeah.
and they're like, "This guy's not about mental health. He's about mental fitness. Mental fitness is different." So I'm the 2.0 version.
I
All
think
right,
it's both.
mental health's
Like,
gone. This shield that I've created, will be a byproduct against that. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But I need to be mentally fit before I can be physically fit, before I
Yeah.
can be diet fit, relationship fit, financially fit, etc. If I'm no good here through getting this fit, I'm fucked
Yeah.
because I can't do anything
Absolutely.
else. So mental fitness for me. So the guys now are like, well, this isn't the stigma through sickness and illness and shame, which mental health has. This is mental fitness. I'm getting fit. This is like buying a new set of runners for my brain. So people are okay putting their name to it now because they're not ashamed.
Do you have a good little story for us, a good little case study that you're really proud of that they would be open to sharing? It doesn't have to be names, but just
Hmm.
someone that you're like, yeah, I am super proud of where they are today. And
I
it
do.
doesn't
I
have to be
do.
from a admiration standpoint. It's just like the care level goes into that and then
Mm.
you get rewarded from that.
Look, I've got this content portal. So when you sign up to the Shield, which is look, it's $2.88 a day to be in it, which is not even half a cup of coffee, really, to give yourself a chance. So it's insane. But with that, there's a content portal you get. So in each of the 8 components which I coach, there is multiple options that I offer that you can implement to you. Because so you might not eat fucking salmon, for example, but you might eat tuna, right? So you're
Sure.
building your own diet through superfoods that I've got in the portal, but you build that yourself. It's not for me to tell you what to eat. You get to choose that. You know, you might like raspberries instead of mixed berries, like whatever, but you choose it. And physical movement, there's about 50 different things that you might choose. And, you know, there's so many different transition trackers, um, apps that we all have access to that can keep us accountable. But ultimately, they're accountable to each other in the WhatsApp group and to me.
I love
So
that.
those
And
success
sometimes, like
stories
with
are,
building
are
that
so
community,
well. This is what I'm doing with the homeless people and out in the streets. You know, like it's giving
yeah,
people hope to wake up the next day to feel something because these sunrises that I'm running, I'm showing people that the best things in life are actually free and it's a starting point to building something better for the future. And if you can tell
100%.
me, Jess, that you don't feel better today knowing you're on a podcast with me, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Well, I
But I
actually
guarantee
woke
you,
up
you'll have a
excited
better
to
day
have this
today. You're
chat.
having a better morning knowing we're about to do this. So when people go to the sunrise or they have connection or they exercise, they are always going to feel better than what they do when they don't do it.
100%. I just think that's
And it all
so
just gets back to those
important
two choices.
to
You know, what do you want to be?
tie something together, to
Do you want to
tie
be the
your
person that's drifting
message for
off
the
out of your?
day into something. You go.
Well, as your spirit's leaving this earth or whatever happens, do you want to be looking back down at yourself going, "Fuck this crazy tattooed Viking guy that ran this movement from Australia said something to me when I was a bit younger, and I wish I had listened then. It's too fucking late. It's too
Do you
late."
know what? It's funny you say that because the reason why I had that turning point, as we say, even though it was built up over time, was I had this out of body experience where I was
No
looking at my
way.
life from below. It was just a
Yeah, right.
brief moment, and I was like, "You need to get out now. You don't
Mm,
want to be here for the next 10 years, let alone the next 10
mm,
minutes." And every decision I made out of that, there was no emotion in it. It was just because I'd already got on board with all these emotions over the years. And I'm like, I need to do this now. I need to do this next step. 6 steps
yep.
here, 6 months down the line. Um,
And so, what made
and
you just
never
take
would I
what?
thought would I have been here today.
Yeah, okay. So, what made you take that leap?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, Probably similar story to you in the sense that I was with my partner. I was married,
Hmm.
10 years, and we just had it out 18 months before this sort of happened. And I said, like,
Mm,
you need to go speak to someone. It doesn't have to be me. You don't have to tell them your whole life story, just go and get some help. If
Yep.
not for me, like for our little family, you know, for yourself. And it just kept happening, like every couple of weeks, every couple of days. And I was like, this can't be my life. Um, I had some very dark thoughts. Like I just started thinking, would it be best if I wasn't here
Yeah.
anymore?
Wow.
Yeah, I got very ill. There was like over COVID, there was like several months where I was, you know, not well at all, in and out of hospital, operations. And slowly but surely, the person that I was with and who I was surrounding myself with was making me feel quite weak.
Yeah.
And that's not
Hmm.
on them. At the end of the day, we're in that relationship together. And I still love this
Yeah.
person.
Wow.
Like, I still have the utmost respect for them
Mm,
because I was in that with them. But I
mm.
was like, I can't be in this with you anymore. Um, and yeah, there was no crying. It's just, this is how it's going to happen. And people will say, yep, you kind of blew up your whole life. You had like a quarter life crisis or whatever it was. And I was like, I think that's sometimes necessary. So I just reverted back to my 18-year-old self. I went out and did things that I liked doing. And like you said, moving your body. I got back into hiking. I've trekked a fair few places over the world. I've doubly qualified scuba instructor. Like I just went on a total tangent.
Can I just jump in? Like, firstly, that's inspiring because this is where I'm trying to coach people to get to. But you fucking did that, man, and that is such a powerful thing. Male or female, doesn't matter. But I think for the women that I coach that stay in relationships to rely on the men who support them because they're worried about what the world looks like as a single person,
Yeah.
they have the ability to go and do that. They just they got to take the fucking leap. And you knew it wasn't serving you well. So once you get to that point, there is no coming back.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do. And if you don't go and you don't jump, you're never going to find out. And you know what? If you're that worried, have it in your mind. You can always go back. If that doesn't work for you, you can always go back. But go and find out.
Mm.
Well
Mm.
done.
And it's what you just said there, like, it's that everyone won't sort of resonate with that whole picture, but they'll resonate with the marriage, and to the outside world, it looks perfect, like we had the perfect relationship, but I didn't hang out with friends. I said no to, like,
Yeah.
going out for dinners and stuff. I was always on my phone, constantly texting, and it got to be a very clingy, passive aggressive, like,
Mm,
uh, dependent relationship. And I lost myself in the process. It strips away so much of you that if you don't have that person there, if they weren't to be there at one day, who are you left with? And I guess that's where you've got to traject every point of your life. You've got to say, am I happy with the person I am without all this material stuff around me? It's just me at the end of the day. And yeah.
yep. Just you giving me so many gold nuggets right here in my women's coaching group. But I've got a
Todd,
question
I
for you
might
offline
sort
too.
of, yeah, go for it.
No, offline. I'll ask you something
Oh,
from here.
I have a few questions offline, but I wanted to. We're at sort of like half an hour now. I wanted to sort of wrap up for our listeners where they can start connecting with you. So I know for me personally that I love podcasts. If I can get 10 seconds of
Mm,
someone on a podcast teaching me about anything, I'll want to learn more from them. I want to
sure.
reach out to them. I want to listen to them. Your Instagram post was what did it for me. I was like, that's just so
Mhm.
basic. I I have to reach out. I want to talk to him. How can
Yep.
our listeners connect with you? What's the best sort of ways? Start off
All right.
Instagram
So
or
free
website? What is
advice and
it?
all and the consistencies are just through Instagram, which is Love Your Mind. But I have so many links that I put up where people can be either coached by me, they can join the Shield program where they can be part of the community and be coached by me. I've got a book. I haven't launched that yet, but I wrote it inside that shed. That is a great starting point. It's a 40-page book to get you started. For me, where people can reach me is this is my life. So anyone that gets to me, I will get back to you somehow. I'm allowing certain hours a day to get back to private messages. So just send them.
Love that. Yes. Do you have any more questions for me online at the moment?
I just think what you're doing is very inspiring, and I just hope that people listen to you as well, because I think you've come across, and I do a lot of podcasts, but you come across as someone who's really, really in tune with what your message is, and you're very similar with the non-negotiating. And I think if people are looking for inspiration, maybe just jump off following all the billionaires that have already made it and have a look at people that are just in this position here who are just starting their journey but won't negotiate the path, because we're all capable to get on a path, and people like us are showing them the way.
Todd, I love that. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, you can't because you're not me. You would have said it better your way.
I love that. Love your work, Todd. Love your mind. Let's jump back on.
I see what you did there. That was amazing.
Let's jump back on for another episode soon. I'll chat to you
100% on there.
offline.
Done. Okay. Love you, mate.
Love you.
See ya. Bye.
The musical intro and outro is produced by Ornate Mosh. Interested in your own unique jingle? Connect via the link in the About section of this podcast. Thank you. You have been listening to You Are the Compass, produced and hosted by Jessie Clayton.